Hey, before I kick off the podcast, I just want to shout out Next Door Clothing. Next Door, a clothing brand based out of Bondi in Sydney. They're making really nice jeans and shirts and hats. So go and check out their full range at nextdoorsydney.com. They're also artists, so you can go and check out a range of art. They put on rad parties, and I love what they're doing. So nextdoorsydney.com for the full range. Last time you were on, dude, it was like
Well, it was a couple of weeks before I was going to Portugal to shape.
Yeah, and it was episode 27.
Yeah, 27, so yeah, which is my birthday. So
I
yeah,
know. And it was like, this will be episode 58.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot happened in between there.
Dude, it's been so much.
Yeah.
Where's the time go?
I know.
Anyway, all right. Some shout outs today. I'm going to start by shouting out Project Nazare in Bali. Those guys, amazing work on the ground, on the streets of Bali, supplying essential items and food to the local community. A small donation to their GoFundMe page can make such a huge difference. So to put it into context, $2 can feed a family of 4 Balinese people per day. So go to their Project Nazare GoFundMe, COVID-19, and get donating. I'd also like to shout out Indosol, and they're getting food to the people who need it. They are not only donating and giving food to those that really need it in conjunction with the restaurant Room for Dessert, but they are also supporting organic food farms in Bali and using the produce from those farms so they can keep going. Now, these farms have resisted corporations like Monsanto. They've resisted corporate takeover to stay true to the land, build the soil, build community. So please go to Indosol, buy a pair of flip-flops. For every pair of flip-flops and slides sold, they'll be donating 3 to 5 meals to families who need it. And if you use promo code THT, you'll also get 15% off. So go to indosol.com and hook them up. Look, let's get together. We need some solidarity. All right, Dill, you ready, brother?
Yeah, mate. Yeah.
Here we go.
I'm having a good time.
You are?
Yeah.
I can tell.
And we are rolling too.
Terrible happy talks. Terrible happy talks. Terrible happy talks. Terrible happy talks. Today's guest is Dylan Longbottom. I'm so excited every time I say that, Dylan. I still froth out, man. I'm a grom at heart.
Yeah, me too.
Today's guest is Dylan Longbottom. Dylan was a previous guest on the show dating back to episode 27, in which we recorded in his surfboard showroom in Berawa, Canggu, Bali. Amongst surfers, Dylan is a legend of the tribe, a fearless, slab-hunting, eternal grommet who has dedicated his life to progression in all that he does. The Longbottom's family history is rich in surfing, and their influence has subtly been entrenched throughout the modern-day surfing culture as we know it. Dylan's journey from being a pro junior to professional free surfer for Billabong to big wave towing pioneer at slabs like Teahupoo in Tahiti, and yes, including the legendary Code Red Swell, to now a surfboard shaper and craftsman, has continued to perpetuate and reinforce the legacy of the Longbottom family, a legacy that is already being passed on to his children. Last time we caught up, Dylan was preparing big wave guns and tow boards for his riders in time for the European winter, specifically at Nazare in Portugal. Dylan discussed his humble beginnings in Cronulla before moving to the south coast of New South Wales. We discussed the infamous East Coast Low of 2016, his stuntman work on Point Break 2, his shaping journey and beyond. They were just legendary stories. I still have people listen to that episode and hit me up about it. Now, more than ever, life has a way of going full circle, and today Dylan is with me in his newly opened boardroom in Cronulla, where it all began, to share his journey, challenges, and hopes for the future. Dylan Longbottom, welcome.
Thanks, mate. Good to see you again, Shan.
Oh, brother, so good to see you.
Last time we're in boardies, this time we're in beanies and Uggbits.
Mate, how are you dealing with the cold?
I don't mind it because I've spent so many years in Bali and always will. I love the board shorts. It's so easy in Bali. That's one of the things I love about Indo. But I grew up here in Cronulla and then South Coast, so I'm used to wetsuits. And I think it's more of a mental thing rather than a physical. I reckon getting cold.
Yeah, it is.
It is. And with getting cold, like you can wear a thicker wetsuit and booties and whatever, but it's actually not that cold here. If you go to Portugal, where I go, it's cold, the water. It's really cold all year round.
What are you wearing there, like 4.3s?
Even in winter, I wear 3.2 because it has this cold current. So the days are still like 30, you get real hot days, 35 degrees. And I said to him, mate, I'm just going to wear my short arm. Mate, I had ice cream headaches. I was dying. I went in, changed my wetsuit. He goes, no way, Dylan, you're tripping. And because they get this current, it comes from up north, the Atlantic, and it comes down and goes down into Morocco. And it's cold all year round. So in the winter, I'm wearing a 4.3, and sometimes with the booties, and if I'm on the jet ski, gloves and hoodie. So here in Australia, it is. I just think of that. It's not that cold. And,
It's not. I mean, you get the wind sometimes.
Yeah, the wind, last week on that big south swell, I was surfing between here in Cronulla Point and down at Shell Harbour and near my factory, and it was like super windy. It was like 50, 60 kilometre winds.
Yeah, it was.
Coming off the snow, we had our first dump, and it was cold, but it was, if you got the right wetsuit, or when you come in, you got your Uggy. You need Uggies.
I've got my
Uggies and a beanie.
I was going to wear them today.
And you just rug up when you come in. It's the in-between when you're running across the rocks on your feet. That's probably the worst.
It is
or
hard.
coming in and trying to get your wetsuit off.
So you've still got some hair up there. And so
I got a little bit, yeah.
But for me, the big thing is like I've got a good wetsuit. I actually wear 4.3s. I feel the cold. But this particular brand, like their 4.3s are really easy to move in, and But no matter how good my wetsuit is, my head gets cold because I'm bald.
Yeah. Well, I'm balding, so I'm going to start wearing my hoodie.
Dude, they're rolls. I wear them all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, and it's funny, it's a fine line because I wear my hoodie on the coldest of days, and then actually you heat up real quick.
Yeah.
Once your head's covered,
yeah,
makes such a difference.
Yeah. So because I got surfer's ear in my right ear going up the east coast here for the subtly wind, I'm kind of half deaf in that ear, and I got to get a drill, but I've just been a bit of a pussy and kind of keep putting it off. But and just using my shaping tools, it is quite noisy. So I got to get my ears done. But my worry is with the hoodie is not being able to hear properly. I like to still hear a bit of the ocean.
Do you surf with plugs?
I surf with one.
Yeah.
I've tried with two, and it blocks too much noise out for me. I still like that feeling and hearing part of surfing.
Yeah.
So but I'm used to one plug.
Same problem. Like a doctor said to me about, I don't know, 5 years ago that I should get my ears drilled in a year or two. And I just keep putting it off.
Yeah.
But just going on that topic, I've heard mixed reports about it. Like even the operation can potentially do damage too because of the vibration of the drill.
Yes, I heard that too. So my good friend from Morocco, Jerome, he got his done recently too at one time. And he went to France to get it done and he got it chipped out. They chip it out with like a chisel, and so it doesn't wreck your healing from these drills and stuff. So
I guess
I'm thinking of doing it that way. Maybe
are you?
That's the new thing, I think.
Progression in it,
yeah.
Because like it's exotosis, so it's a bony growth of the ear canal.
Yeah.
To protect your eardrum from it's cold wind.
It's cold wind. Yeah.
As a guess, is it your right ear that's bad?
Yes.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
And people say that South Coast surfers get in the right ear.
East Coast, it's the right ear. Everyone.
Because you're sitting in the cold water with the southerly hitting you, the southwest hitting you.
That's it.
How weird, eh?
Yeah, it's crazy.
But I've got a really weird theory on it. Because I've been surfing with plugs in my ear now for 10 years. I'm just so adapted to it. Blue tack is still my go-to.
Yeah, same.
So because if I push things down the canal, I get a build up of wax and then I get ear infections. But blue tack, you can just like cover the hole.
And you can mold it good.
Mold it.
Yeah,
is that what you do?
Yeah, blue tack's. I've tried everything.
So have I.
Blue tack's the best.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just find that I don't know, I've just adapted to it, but I think over the years, because I've just kept doing it and protected my ears and looked after them, I think I've just like plateaued with it's not getting any worse.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah, mine's the same. It's got to a point. It's kind of growth on both sides. But I tried to get it done in Australia. They go, it's a 3-month wait. And I'm like, I don't know where I'm going to be in 3 months. I could be in Portugal, Bali, America. I don't know where I'm going to be. I can't, I'll lock into that.
Dude, yeah. So are you scared of commitment, Dill?
Not really. No.
Scared of commitment at all.
No. Just if I'm going to do it, just do it. Like I said, just do it.
I know. But it's a pretty. My friends had it done, and the recovery is pretty gnarly. Like it takes.
Yeah.
You got to give yourself a good 6 to 8 weeks. If you're not
Yeah,
doing
well,
much.
I guess that was my worry, is being out of the water that long.
Yeah.
So maybe if I go skateboarding or snowboarding for that time.
Life's too short, eh?
Yeah.
Brother, so listen, last time we caught up, we're in Berawa, in Bali, and the world is a really different place,
Yeah, definitely.
And yeah, so a lot's changed since then. But to go back to that day, it was an awesome morning. We set up in your boardroom, did an awesome podcast, and it was like a day or two before you were about to go to Europe for the European winter, and you were frantically trying to get all your big wave boards done for your riders like Lucas Chumbo and
Yep.
So how was that trip to Europe, bro?
Oh man, that was another wild one. It was crazy. I think it was my second day, and I got there straight off the plane from Bali, like 30, 40 hours, straight to the factory, straight in the shaping bay, talking to customers, shaping. And then the second day, they're like, boys, Lucas rings and goes, mate, get to Nazare. It's going to be 60 foot tomorrow. I was like, oh shit, here we go again. And I after the episode last year where it nearly killed me when I got caught inside, I was like in two minds. I still got this urge in me that like, oh yeah, I can do it. But then I had that, and I spoke to my wife. She was like a bit worried, like, didn't want me to put myself in that position again. So, but then I come, and then my mates were like, can't do it. You're sweet, mate. and I got there with Lucas and all the boys, and just talking toe boards and big guns, and next minute I'm on the ski heading out there, and it was like it must have been 60, 70 kilometers cross shore, and the ocean was angry, and it was probably like 50 to 60, 70 foot sets
with giant chops,
and then so instead of going first this time, Antonio Silva. I was in the WSL towing event, so he needed some practice. I said, you go first. You need the practice. And I made him a new board. He's like, yeah, all right. Yeah. And he was psyched, which is cool. And then Lucas pulls up next to us on his ski, and we're all just having a chin bag, out. And all of a sudden, man, like this probably 70-footer pops up in front of us. And because of the onshore, it started to cap.
No.
And as I took off, I said, grab the rope, get the slack. It was all happening. And Lucas was right next to me. He was on the back of her. He was towing. I think one of the Brazilian boys was towing him. And then as the rope got slack, the thing was about to break on us. And as I took off, Antonio fell off the rope. And I looked back. I was like, no. And then I was side by side with Lucas, so I couldn't cut off. I had to go over in front of the wave, so I had to back off. He went. And then as I pulled off, I went over this giant wave, and then I looked to where Antonio was, and he was gone.
No.
And my heart dropped. I was like, no, because he's a really close friend. I got a young kid, and I was like, shit. And then, but driving out there is as scary as surfing because you got to be there for your guy. And it's a really hard place to drive. And then I was like, shit, where is he? And then there was another one, like probably at least 60-foot face, like angry, like super windy. And then I had to go over that one again. So what happened was the first one, he was just bobbing there, and he tried to swim under it, and he already had some air in his vest. He had probably about 30% air. So he said he tried to swim under it. And then as he said, he felt his feet at the top. He was like, oh no. So he prepped himself, and he went over the falls.
No.
Yeah, on a 60-footer. And then he got pounded. He goes, that one wasn't so bad. He pulled two pins, pull cords.
Gotcha.
And then he said he come up, but that second one I went over was even bigger, and that was the one that flogged him. And it drove him so deep. And
really, even with the inflated vest?
Yes.
So he didn't become
and then he had another two. And then I followed this wave in, and it was right near the rocks again, the death zone where he'd been before, which nearly killed him. And I was just like, no, I couldn't find him. And then luckily one of the best drivers, Eric Rabier, he's the best there. And he followed me in, he knew. So we hugged the rocks, looking left, like, where is he? Like, and then you see him, all of a sudden he popped up. It was right next to Eric. And he's like, yeah, like, and scooped him, and I was just like, that was heavy. Like, not just to drive like that and have that whole experience. And then so he didn't even get away, but then we don't wear leashes, and then we lost the tow board. We thought it was on the rocks, and we looked, we're dodging giant waves, and we couldn't find it after about 10 minutes. But the good thing, the positive that came out of this was Antonio hadn't been surfing Nazare much. He'd been chasing slabs. He's the slab guy for Portugal, for Spain, like crazy slabs, paddling, towing, whatever. So he needed that Nazare. He needed that wipeout again. And he goes, he's patting me on. He's like, Dill, I needed that. That was so good.
Why do you need
Because
it?
he had the comp coming up. And if you're going to surf Nazare, you got to be prepared to get taken down some way. Whether, if you don't, you're kind of tripping. Something, it's all about a team thing. And it all worked out good, but it was just good training of underwater and getting belted, and the mental training. It was more the mental training and the physical. And but then we lost the tow board, so I couldn't surf.
Oh, no.
And I couldn't get my turn. He's like, well, let's just go. And I said, mate, what? After that ordeal, I'm done. It's too windy, man.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sweet. I was happy to be out there, and Lucas was there. I had about 15, 20 guys on my tow board, so I was just cruising out going, how's your board going? They'll come. We're talking about tow boards in the lineup, the boards that I made them. So for me, that's what I was getting so much information and being there firsthand, seeing how fast, how much speed, the bump. Like I'd already surfed it.
Getting the best feedback possible.
Yeah. I made a special fin for that because we only use thruster there because we're going so fast and we're getting out of the water of all the bumps.
I was going to say, is it a weighted fin?
No, it's a really big fin. It's nearly like a 6.5 inch, but it nearly looks like a single fin because they're getting out of the water. It's like a Thundercat with a heavy motor at the back, and they fly. But as you re-engage with the water, the fin engages and keeps you in control with the weight. So I made this fin for Lucas, and he's just like, he'd get away, come back. He goes, this is ridiculous. This is a game changer. This is what I needed. So I'd made this fin, and then they were all trying it, and it went so good.
What do those tow boards weigh on average?
Between around 10 kilo.
So on a big...
But they feel like they're 20, but they're 10.
Right.
If you pick up a normal board and then pick up this, it is extreme.
10 kilo.
10 kilo.
So even on a massive day at Nazare with wind chop, do they seem to cut through it?
Yeah.
Or is it
that's
still...
That's why you need so much.
But they were still cutting through the chop and allowing people to maintain control?
Some people like drive through some chops, which are like moguls. Or some people like to air them like Lucas. Lucas airs it, so there's a 3-foot chop coming in the face, and he'll air one and land on the second one like a mogul.
Are you serious?
Nah, that's his kind of line. And Kai Lenny's the same. Because they're on a crazy different level where some guys will ride the bumps. And but yeah, the way Lucas, they skip, so they go even faster. Yeah.
What has Lucas Chumbo got in terms of a big wave surfing progression? Like what is he bringing to the game, and what do you think he will bring to the game in the future? Because he seems like he's really trying to progress big wave surfing.
He is. He is fearless, absolutely fearless, but and he's super fit and super talented. Like Kai, they're both the same. But what they bring like this small wave surfing attitude and passion, and the lines they take. Whether they're, they were trying to pull into Nazare. He's taking off on the right, Mavericks and backdoor on the left. Things we've dreamed of, but they're actually doing it. They're doing air 360s at the top on tow boards before that started Nazare, like a air 540, like snowboard turns.
So he's like trying to backdoor Mavericks.
Not trying, he's doing it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You said, he's taking off on the right.
Yeah, so he takes off on the right and backdoors at the left.
Behind the peak for the left.
You see all them classic photos of Mavericks that they're shooting it from the left with the guys taking off on the right. And you look and go, man, that looks like you can backdoor it. These guys are doing it now, paddling it.
Why are they able to do that now, like in terms of surfboard progression?
Because
in terms of surfboard shapes, big wave boards.
So for that, I've designed Lucas. He likes for not to ride as big as Nazare when he's paddling. Nazare is riding a 10.6.
Yeah.
Jaws, he's riding a 10.4 to 10.2. And then at Mavericks, he's riding a 9.9.
I'm just going to pan over to that.
Yeah.
Like, there it is. So that's the Lucas Chumbo.
That's the Lucas Chumbo model, yeah.
And that's a flat deck.
Yeah.
So how is he able to get like a sharp enough line on a big wave like Mavericks?
Yeah, so it was always, we needed more and more volume to paddle big waves, okay? You won't get enough paddle, like planing speed, to be able to match the moving speed of a swell of Mavericks. By the time it jacks up and heaves, if you're on a shortboard, this is impossible. So the more volume, the better for paddling. So with a flat deck, it gives us more volume, but the key is the low rail to get that rail engaged. And Lucas was like, the lower the better, the lower the better. But then the flat deck is like that skatey feel, the skatey deck where you get a lot more responsiveness. Like you couldn't do a kickflip on a board with a curved deck on a skateboard.
Yeah.
It'd be impossible. But with flat or concave deck, you can. So on a big board, we're getting way more feeling under our feet. The responsive time from banking on that rail is in seconds.
So you
kind of way better.
You bevel the rail.
Yeah, so I've beveled it. So you got that low rail, but then that's why the volume is more, because it comes right where it matches the rail with the flat deck. And so on a normal board with them same dimensions, it wouldn't be that much.
Gotcha.
But so you got two good things. You got a lower rail, and you got more volume. But then you got a flatter deck with more responsiveness and a big board.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's unreal. So and then so it's enabling Lucas to paddle in, and he's making like the faces are easy 30 feet and square, and he's scooping under it. He's not quite getting to the bottom and getting under the lip, getting these giant barrels and getting spat out.
So what's someone like Kai Lenny asking for?
So Kai, yeah. So I've started making Kai's boards. He was supposed to be here with Lucas. I was going to take him all around to the slabs in Australia and Bobby's, which was going to be so exciting with them too.
Dylan's slab tours.
Yeah, Dylan slab tours. So they wanted to go Shippies, the right, a few South Coast reefs, maybe South Oz, wherever. It was looking good. And so, yeah, and Kai goes, oh, yeah, you know all them reefs. Can you make me a quiver? So... And he kind of has the tow boards and short boards, and then he's got these giant guns for jaws. He's got nothing in the mid-range size, in them 7-8 footers, which is good for Australia. And making him and Lucas some tow boards. And I said to him, like, we've been thinking, a few of us and the local Tassie boys and Laurie Towner, we've been thinking of doing an Air 360 over the step at Shipstone.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No. So we've been thinking it for years, but none of us have tried yet.
What do you mean you've been thinking it for years? Just to give us a play-by-play, right? You tow into big Shipstones.
Yeah.
Okay. You find your line. At what stage can you see the step coming? Almost immediately?
Well, there's two steps. There's the really deep one, or there's the mega one. So it'll be off the mega one, the last one. And so you'd have to come down. You'd have to wash off some speed because you couldn't do an Air 3 or going max speed. So you'd have to wash speed, and you can do it two ways. So you can do like a forehand rotation, which would be like an alley-oop.
Yeah.
And then you spin 360, and then you land with your inside edge in the barrel.
No way.
For a natural footer, I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Or you can spin the other way. So you can spin to your left and like an air reverse.
What skateboarders or snowboarders would call a frontside 360.
Yes. And then, or you do a backside 360, and then so you spin and you look into the barrel, like you go the opposite way, and then again, and then you land on your inside edge. You got to stomp it clean.
No way.
And then you're just inside a giant cavern. But if you land like that, you're gonna get hammered. If you over rotated, you would go the other way and just so
backwards over the falls.
We always say, well, why don't we just pad up? Wear 3 life jackets and blow ourselves up and put padding and try it. But and the Tassie boys like Mikey Brennan and Laurie have been talking, and Laurie, he's not from Tassie, and Danny Griffiths, but so I said to Kai, and he goes, mate, I've been dreaming of that. What? And I said, well, what's your tow you ride for Jaws and Shipstones and Nazare? And so I'm going to make him something shorter and lighter. We need a bit lighter. That's what Laurie loves out there, because over the step, you want a bit more feeling, and you got to tweak it and change the line. And so I'm going to make him a normal one for like the right, and then I'm going to make him a lightweight, and Lucas, because Lucas is going to try it backhand. He wants to.
Oh my God. See, this is why you guys changed the game.
Yeah.
Because you think of shit like that. Like, who thinks of that?
Well, yeah.
But do you reckon
we've been thinking of it, but now Lucas and Kai are actually doing it.
But do you think it's going to happen?
100%. Yeah. Like, look, Kai was doing it at Nazare. He was doing air threes on the top of a 60-foot.
What do you mean? Like off like a chop hop?
Off like a chop hop style before, and then he'd.
I haven't seen that footage.
And then he would bomb drop a 60-foot face. So it'd be like,
I've seen that.
It'd be like big mountain stuff in snowboarding, like bomb dropping a cliff drop.
Yeah.
And then hitting some steep run. So
I've seen that under the lip snap that Kai Lenny did at Jaws.
Yeah, Lucas.
Well, no, was that Lucas or no? Kai Lenny did one as well. Where he airdropped back in.
Oh yeah.
When was
Kai
that last year?
One. Yeah.
I mean, that was just like
wow.
Yeah. I kind of conjured memories of like Tom Carroll at Pipeline.
Yeah.
Except a whole different realm.
And then Lucas done one in the comp on the left there, and he tried a layback snap on a 40-foot face on a 10-foot 4 board. He tried to float it too, lip slide floater.
Yeah.
So, and it's exciting because
I was going to say
because they're changing the game. They're really bringing surfing to a whole different level, and it's exciting, and it's unreal to watch, and and they're doing it. It's like
it's inspiring because
it's inspiring. Yeah.
Yeah, I think. There's times with surfing I think, well, okay, well, we're done. This is as far as we can go.
Yeah.
You ever think that?
Well, it kind of went that way, like what we're doing at Teahupoo or, paddling Nazare now, like the size or towing the size at Nazare to paddling pipe to the airs, we're doing. But now it's opened up a whole new realm.
Yeah.
And I guess it was the same with snowboarding when they went to the big mountain stuff. And so they're finding bigger mountains, and now they're doing like 720 off bomb drop and these things in Alaska, and then ride out some, just kind of taking it to a new level.
Amazing, bro.
Yeah.
So listen, after Nazare, you stayed in Europe for a little longer.
Yeah.
And you did a bit of a tour to Morocco.
Morocco, yeah.
And how was that? Give us a breakdown.
Yeah, always go to Morocco every year. My good friend Jerome rides my boards, and I make a lot of boards for down there. For all the boys, so I had heaps of boards, and I love Morocco. It's so good.
Why? What do you like about it?
Just from going from Portugal, the water's a bit warmer, and then I'm surfing Nazare and slabs and points and kind of everything in Portugal. But after surfing Nazare or surviving, it's a bit of it's like Australians going to Indo.
Yeah.
It's full of awesome beach breaks and point breaks. And then this year, it was a big swell when I went. I timed it again, and I went, come down. And I actually surfed a left.
No way.
A crazy left.
In Morocco?
In Morocco.
Was that the one that kind of looked like it was in a bay?
Yeah.
What? It looked epic.
It was unbelievable.
And it looked like it ran for a couple hundred meters.
It was long, and it changed with tides, and it was hollow, and it was good for turns, and
So you'd never discovered it prior to that?
No. Yeah, no, my mate surfed it, but I won't say too much more, but yeah.
That's good.
But I was just stoked, and then we went down to Safi again, and they had a crazy winter. Like I could spend lots of time, and he was like, bring summer back, but I was just too busy shaping. I would have went back. But I'm going to go there every year. But I love it. The food is cool. Like, the local cool. It's really cool, and they really love surfing. They love it. So they want to talk about surfboards, and it feels like it's still like in the first generation. There is some second generation guys, like some guys in their 60s that I surfed. I made a board for the first guy that surfed Safi. It was just him and his mate. Wow. And I was just asking him stories, and it was just me and him. But most of the generation, they're all just learned to surf in the last 5-10 years, and they love it. They're like, what does this do? What's this board do? So I kind of like it. It's cool.
That's rad.
Yeah.
And it seems like every time I see footage of that place, like the landscape just looks so raw.
It is, yeah.
Is it like that?
It is like that.
So when you're sitting out in the lineup, looking back at the coastline, what are you looking at? Give us a visual.
Yeah, well, every is different, but you got these real dry, barren rocks, and it's the watercolor's different. It's real red, orange. Color, and then the sky's a different color, and it's really cool. It's so different to what I've experienced in the world.
Yeah.
Like there would be like It feels like I'm in another world.
Amazing.
Yeah, so I go from Europe to Africa,
Yeah.
and it feels like I've changed a planet.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, totally different planet.
Like you're on the moon.
Yeah, I'm like on the moon surfing. I'm like, did I just fly 2 hours away? It's bizarre.
I've been looking at surf spots in Morocco for years.
Yeah.
There's a break there called Drax, is it?
Yeah.
Like, what's it like, man? It just looks...
I haven't surfed that one, so I've been a lot of the other main ones, and I've been right down into the Western Sahara, into the desert, and that place blew my mind, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you been to Skeleton Bay?
No,
Africa?
not yet.
Is that on your cards?
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you feel you'd go on your back end out there?
Yeah, all good. I've grown up in hollow lefts on the south coast, and so you need the right boards because it's all about that paddling, getting in early because it's so sucking so hard, So you want a short board, but you want the thickness to be able to get into it, and then you want that low rail to be able to hold your line.
Yeah.
But I think if you make that takeoff, you're going to get the barrel of your life.
Yeah, I've noticed.
Yeah, but yeah, it looks mesmerizing. Like you see pictures and videos, but I think once you get there and surf it, I think it will just be mind blowing.
Yeah, I look at it and go, that's amazing. But I also get the feeling that it wouldn't be as easy as it looks.
No, that's what I've had a few mates from South Coast and from other places gone there, and they've said that it is tricky for sure.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, it's not an easy wave. You got to think of it, like you surf Kero when it's proper. It's not an easy wave. It's just you got to be sitting right on that bank line, And then if you don't chip in early, it's gonna launch you, and probably into the sandbank.
Like Kira seems like it could be quite technical in the barrel too. Really,
it is. It's not so much in the barrel; it's more the takeoff because it's such a long line, and where you're going to get into it, and it's pretty square wherever you are on that part of the line.
So you're chipping in there. You're not actually taking off under the lip at Kira, are you?
Yeah, you're taking off under the lip, but if you can get a chip, get in early, it's way better. Yeah, and then you can get that first speed pump. Oh. If you get that first speed pump in, and it'd be the same for Skeleton Bay.
Yeah.
If you get that first speed pump, it will set your whole line for the whole wave.
And get high on the face.
But if you don't get that first speed pump, if you kind of drop out of the lip, and then you'll lose your speed and lose your line.
It'll outrun you.
It would outrun you, yeah.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, so that's why we need that thickness in the board to be able to get in early and under the lip. So like that board there, I'll surf that one on the left. That's
the
my
Lucas.
Predator, my PU.
That one?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
So that's one to surf ours or the reefs on the south coast or Shark Island.
So that's your slab hunter.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's epoxy.
No, that one's PU.
That one's PU.
That one's epoxy.
Yep.
The epoxy one's for the beach break, which I'll surf today in Cronulla.
Okay.
And that's the beach break board, and the one next to it, as you can see, that one's 5'11". There's only 3 inches difference. So I only need a short. So same for Skeleton Bay or something like that. But it's got the volume. It's 2 3/4 thick.
Yeah.
And I've got like nearly 34 litres.
No
from
way.
A 6'2".
So like you're quite big on volume.
Yes.
As a shaper.
Yeah.
And we were talking about this earlier. Like I think a lot of average Joe surfers, and you feel this as well, are surfing too low a volume in their boards.
Yeah.
Like why do you feel that?
I just feel like the information they've got over the last, 10 years or even more, surfing changed so much. We went from single fins to longboards, single, twin, that to thrusters, and then it went through that era with Kelly with the banana thin boards, and then it's come back to shorter, more volume, more area. But the general information that people have got, I guess because the WSL, it's so everyone can watch it these days, and they base themselves off the pro surfer.
Yeah.
And so that's good for them. If they're 80 kilos, they could ride a board at 27, 28 litres. But there's no way the average surfer could. And that's even if you're in board shorts. So you add a steamer to that. So now we're in winter here, and we're wearing a 3.2, so that's 3 kilos wet. If you put your wet wetsuit, you put on scale, it's going to be between 2.5, 3 kilos. 4.3 is going to be heavier.
I think a lot of people fail to consider that.
Yeah, and then you got wind to factor and whatever. So I just find, and you got to remember that these pros are freaks. They're naturally talented.
And surfing like all day, every day.
They surf, they practice, they got to practice every day, whether it's a half a foot or if it's 10 foot. And then so their paddling speed is so different to the average person. Like me, I spend most of my day shaping, or I'll be with my kids. I won't surf every day anymore. But so I need my paddle, and surfing, it's not like snowboarding or skating. Most surfing, you're spending more time paddling than actually on the wave. So, and then it's about getting in the right position, and then wherever I'm doing turns and catching that wave super early and hitting that first section rather than missing it, or pulling in and getting under that lip. So the volume, most people, I would say a majority of surfers are at least 1 to 3 liters under what they should be.
No way.
Yeah. And then the other critical factor is because you can put a lot more volume, but then I like to lower my rails. So I like to hide a lot of the volume.
Hide the volume. So lower, like sharper rails.
Not sharper.
Just lower.
Lower.
Okay.
Yeah. Like lower medium soft. So I just find if you can paddle fast and get that board planing, paddling, and then if you got flow and speed, which is what you want for surfing, you can do anything. Whether you're on a 2-foot wave beach break, if you got flow and speed, you can crack it or whip it around. Or if you're on a 4 to 6 foot wave or a 50-foot wave, if you got flow and speed, you can do anything. And that's what the volume gives you.
Not necessarily length.
Not length. No, the length comes with the height of the wave and the steepness of the wave.
Are you also compensating by lowering the rocker?
A little bit, yeah, a little bit. So I don't tend to have super rocket out boards, because if you do that, and then you lose that planing feel again. You start pushing water. When you're paddling, you'll be underwater. You get a better turning circle. So I like that happy medium. It depends on which model and where you want the curve, whether it's under your feet or up front or wherever. But yeah, I'm tending to lower my rockers a little bit. But, obviously on my short boards, putting more tail rocker. So the curve fits into a shorter wave because of the height of the shorter wave's curvier. So you want your board to fit in with a smaller wave. Or that board there, the 7.9 Chumbo model, I'll take that out of. If it's Cronulla points, could be like 6 to 8 foot tomorrow. I'll ride that because it's a bit more curvier face, and I'll be able to paddle in early and do some big lines, big long lines.
It's funny, as you're talking about that stuff, I'm looking at this amazing photo behind you. Now, we're talking about rocker, so you want to turn around and give us a breakdown of what's going on? Because maybe grab your mic as well.
Yeah.
So there you are.
Yep.
In the belly of the beast.
Yeah.
Look at that, dude. And this picture's epic.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at that board that you're on.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's quite rocket out. Right? And you're deep. But then I look at, so who's that in front of you?
Yeah, some Hawaiian guy. I didn't even get his name.
So he dropped in on you?
Yeah, he dropped in on me, yeah.
Wow.
He was quite, I let go of the rope pretty early because you can see Laurie's paddling out there. He was trying to paddle some bombs.
Laurie Towner.
He was
trying to paddle in that size.
That day, yeah. This was one of the biggest ones to come through. But the ones, a bit under that, he was trying to paddle.
And I'm looking at his board, and it just, even just from the photo, it looks quite flat.
Well, you can see these guys were way too flat, and they're way too much. They were too broad, the outline. And way too flat, so you can see it. It's just pulling him up the face.
So what happened to that guy? So what happened?
And he probably didn't have enough weight. Where mine, I've got weight on that one, and I've got a bit more nose rocker to keep my nose up, because you don't want a nose dive there. I'll tell you that.
No.
But then it's technical. Your line. He's got a bad line. Where I come in deeper but faster. So I probably where I let go of the rope was probably nearly 50 feet behind him.
No.
But when my jet ski, but my jet ski was probably going double the speed. So, but that's why I pretty much nearly caught him, but I got a better line from going deeper. And then I got a better chance of coming out because I'm carrying my speed. Where his jet ski guy was going slower, so he didn't carry his speed. And when he got to the end bowl, this is the end bowl, he couldn't carry speed, so it started pulling him up the face. And what happened was I could just see him out of the corner of my eye. And he ended up doing donuts. He caught an edge just after this, and he's done donuts over my head with the toe board.
No.
And it was like out of a Kelly Slater game, like a video game. I was just like, whoa, like this human, like doing somersaults, backflips, and lucky the wave was so thick, it carried him. Otherwise, he would have just dropped out of off the roof.
Fucking kidding
But
me?
it carried him up over into the abyss, and I was like, "Oh, what
That would
happened
have
to
been
that
terrifying.
guy?" But then all of a sudden, I refocused. I went, "Oh, like I was back in reality," and I was like, "Oh, you know." So I was just pressing, and as you can see, I'm on my toe edge there.
No.
So I start on my heel edge when
Yeah.
I let go, but then as it comes around the bowl, I'm going super fast, but then I'm on my toe edge. So I'm holding, but then that spit turns into a foam ball after I'd seen him go over me. And then I couldn't see, and then I was just holding it, but then it just chewed me up.
So you didn't come out of that?
No,
Dude.
not that one.
Okay, really quickly, break down that beating.
And then so pretty much it was just like the velocity was just so intense. It was just like all this pressure like going in every direction. And but I just had to roll with it and kind of let go of myself, like just kind of.
Yeah, where do you go mentally when you're being pounded by a wave?
You just
like
kind
that?
of, kind of snap into this. All right, fuck, I'm gonna get so smashed here, like the worst of my life, and just go with it, and just go, oh yeah, like not think anything bad thoughts or like, oh shit, this is bad, or
Do you cover
I'm gonna hit the
Do you
reef.
cover your head?
Sometimes I do.
I know that's for me, that's a reflex action is I always just chuck my hands over my head, especially at reef breaks.
Especially here at Teahupoo where it's so dry, it's so shallow. So I do here sometimes if I can, but usually it's so intense you can't. Like it's trying to rip my arms and my legs, and I'm like upside down, and then I'm that way.
I
And
was going to say, do you think because it bounces off the reef so hard, does it kind of do a thing where it actually like sort of that bouncing off the reef of the water is actually shooting you back up? Like,
yes, yeah.
okay.
I find the more intense because I've had so many at Teahupoo for over 20 years that if you can fall as late, if you're going to fall, that's why you hold on as late as possible and then it's shallow in front of it. But once that the wave here, there's so much water in that, it turns pretty deep. So, but it's really intense. And the shocky is more, I say, more intense but shorter explosion.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where at Nazare, it's kind of deep and different, and it'll just hold you down, and it'll drive you deep and hold and roll and rolling.
I've heard that's what happens at Mavericks.
And Mavericks too.
And at places like the right.
The right, where it goes from shallow into deep, and it'll just keep driving you deep.
Do you do breath work?
No,
training?
not much.
What's your training regime like?
Just shaping boards.
Shaving boards and skate
park.
And skate park. Dude, this is why I love you.
Yeah, for me, it's more experience. Yeah,
Experience, yeah.
It's experience.
Like putting yourself in.
There's guys can hold their breath for 4 minutes and stuff, But if you put them in that position, they would probably drown because they'd freak out, So, it's the experience, and you got to be able to hold your breath for a bit. But it's if you can, in most normal humans, if you can, even Nazare with you're going to get probably maybe a minute hold down, 2-wave hold down. But if you do a minute in a pool, it's pretty easy. But if you've done a minute at Nazare feels like about 10, and it's pretty frightening. So yeah.
Yeah, bro.
So, but yeah, of course you got to be fit, and like shaping, surfing, kids' skate park keeps me fit. That's why
having kids is like I was talking about this with someone the other day. Like it's definitely like for me, I'm in that early stage where I'm constantly picking kids up off the ground.
Yeah.
And this is going to sound funny, but it's like building my biceps up and shit.
Yeah.
It's like I'm doing deadlifts every day.
Yeah.
And then like me and my wife were talking about it. You count that throughout the day. Like we're doing like 100, 200 deadlifts a day.
Yeah. I know. There's so many different ways of, picking up kids or I push it, even if I go for a walk around Cronulla here.
Yeah.
And I take Malia on a scooter or skatey, but when there's a bit of a hill, I just push her like I'm the chairlift or the T-bar up a hill, and then I'm driving my legs and just little things like that. You're actually doing good fitness training.
It is, bro.
So for me, Malia, she's 8, so I've done it with my other kids, Jay and Summer. But you take your kid surfing, I'm still pushing her and pulling her out. And to walk your kid out, 50 meters into a break and then push them on whitewash or green wave and then you got to go walk in, pick them up in water. That is a crazy workout.
Yeah.
So that's one of mine. Like for it's cardio and it's driving your legs.
Your kids now, they surf.
Yeah.
They love to surf.
Yeah.
And do you find that their love for surfing as you have is like the gel that keeps your family together?
Oh, it's definitely part of it. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's definitely part of it. And for us, I've been lucky enough to been able to my family to travel with me to Bali. We've lived in Bali. We've spent months in Portugal and Morocco. I've taken them and to the French Alps and Switzerland where I got friends. I make kiteboards. He's a skier and all these life experiences. I think not just surfing. I think it's all these life experiences of travel, which has really bonded us. And
so cool, bro.
and surfing's part of it for sure. You know, the oceans and skate parks. You know, that's what my life was as a kid. My dad would, we didn't have skate parks like this. We would create things. We had quarter pipes.
That's so rad.
So yeah,
yeah. It's funny. All the surfers that I'm drawn to have a skate background.
Yeah,
like John.
Yeah.
You know, he loves to skate. Like Julian Wilson's an amazing skateboarder.
Yeah, no, yeah.
You know, and I really do feel like those like it's a good marriage there.
Yeah, it is.
I think more surfers need to consider that, and I think a lot of surfers do.
Yeah, yeah.
But
yeah, I do the odd. I like to run. That's pretty much my training for cardio. But I like the skate park. It's such a good workout. And so my kids are having fun and they're getting a good exercise too. But I'll do a few bowl runs. Like I'll go as long as I can if it's not too busy. And mate, it's gnarly, like exercise and it's fun. So I'd rather go to the skate park. Yeah, for my mind. I would go for a skate park sesh for an hour with my kids and that's going to be the best workout. And I'm using similar muscles as surfing. And mate, it's gnarly. It's you're constantly catching waves.
Yeah,
there's no paddling, but
yeah. There's no waiting.
But it's I just think it's really good for your surfing because it's a really good cross trainer. It's fun, and you can do surf lines, and it's good for technique, and it's fun.
Yeah, it is.
You go different parks, and these days there's so many good parks everywhere. That's
amazing, dude.
Yeah. Anywhere in the world, they're everywhere.
They are.
Yeah, like so I try to travel with skating as much as I can.
Do you do?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome, bro. Yeah, I'm the same. Like, I think it's something as I get older, like I've done it since I was a kid, but I'm actually sticking to it more than ever for two reasons. Like the physical side of it, yes.
Yep.
But I think skateboarding, it really works your mind. Like you have to constantly break down. Like you start thinking about foot position.
Yes.
You think, and you have to have a level of commitment.
Yeah.
Like, just dropping in sometimes on a bowl.
Yeah.
There's commitment there.
You got to be constantly thinking. If you go off the ball, it won't work or you can't do it. You literally can't do it. So if I'm going to 50-50, I like to grind, which is like a floater for me.
Gotcha.
So I like grind, but it's so technical. If my wheel doesn't get over that truck and then my heel unbalanced, you're constantly thinking. And then when you're coming back in or if you're doing bowl runs, you got to hit that bit to connect.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's really good for your mind, skateboarding.
It is, brother. Dude. Now, listen, we're in your new shop in Cronulla, the Boardroom, and I'm just like sitting here behind your table, running my hands over this channel bottom, like what looks like a small waveboard.
Yeah.
It looks so sick, and you gave me one to ride in Bali, and I rode it, I think a couple of days at Berawa Beach.
Yeah.
Really fun beachy, kind of fatter wave.
Yeah.
And then I also rode it at Echo Beach, Rivermouth, which is a little bit faster.
Yep.
Still rolling, but the wall's a little bit steeper.
Yeah.
And mate, it felt like a magic carpet. So can you tell us what's the board called?
Yeah, so that model's the Siamese twin.
Yeah.
And it's basically my twinny model, but then I've just been playing around with it, doing some. So naturally I had a single double concave and I just had that continuous straight line to a swallow. But then I just started thinking and I started mixing it up. So I was like, because I grew up on twinnies and then I was like, you know what, I might stick some channels in this to get some extra drive and bite and have that freedom as a twin. And I don't like the tails too wide. So I had the kind of the swallow, but then the tail's too wide. So then I cut in extra, it's nearly like I call it a double diamond tail, and then which help pull the tail area in to be able to pivot a lot easier and feel a bit sharper under your feet. So, I was riding days when I was 1 to 2 foot because I just find I can get a bit bored now when it's 1 to 2 foot. If I was surfing a normal board, I would be bored. Yeah. So I need to keep it exciting, and for my kids, when I go out there, I want to be able to go fast and have speed and flow.
Performance factor.
Performance. So if it's 1 foot and I got speed and there's a closeout section, I can do an air. So that was the whole point of this. So you got that skatey feeling, but then you got this. I would have no speed and I would push off the bottom, and the thing would take off without any power.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So it felt really good.
It's funny, like the times I've ridden channel bottoms, they go great when the conditions are perfect and there's, nice glassy conditions.
Yep.
And when I rode this board, I was lucky enough to ride it in glassy conditions because, it's pretty much like it's offshore in Bali all the time.
Yeah.
That's why it's
always clean.
That's why it's heaven on earth for our service.
Yeah.
But how does it go when there's a bit of chop on the face? Because I've found that when I've had channel bottoms, like they don't handle chop well.
Yeah, so everyone says that.
Why?
Yeah, I don't get it. I just think it's an old wives' tale that there's people like sheep. They just go, oh, yeah. But they don't really know. They've just heard it of so-and-so and so-and-so. So last week it was, 56 kilometre, 2 days of it, and I was surfing 6 to 8 foot slabby.
But howling southwest winds.
Yeah, but where I was surfing, it was kind of cross off, so it was a lot of bump and chop, like heavy bump and chop, especially where I took off. And then I had to get in over a step, so I was getting a lot of air under my board, and I rode my 6'4" Raptor model with 6 channel.
Right.
And it went like a dream.
Okay.
And so it just proved to me again that's false.
It's bullshit.
Yeah, and you know what? Because you're getting air under it, but when the board regathers to the water, like you're actually getting more grip.
It would make sense.
They're like teeth.
It would make sense.
So versus a V bottom or a concave bottom, which would tend to drift, the channels are going to grab quicker.
Yeah,
because channels are like these long little mini fins. So that I don't get why people say that. I don't know who started that, but I've been riding in really choppy conditions, and the same for epoxy.
Okay.
Again, the same thing. Epoxy, it doesn't work. It's choppy and windy.
Well, that's what I hate to say it. I was going to say that too.
That's bullshit. No. I ride mine when it's windy. Actually, when it's onshore, that's when I go and ride my epoxy.
Or is it more because epoxies are notoriously much lighter?
It is because the epoxy will ride on the water, on top of the water, where the PU will get in and cut the water. Yeah. So what the difference is, the epoxy is riding over the chop, so it's really choppy, you're up over it. But when it's offshore, I will go to my PU because I'm drawing lines. I want to engage that rail. But when it's onshore and windy, I'll go to the epoxy.
Really?
Because I want to go fast and get air and whack it and I can get between the chops.
Okay.
And it goes better.
Interesting.
So that's another one which I totally disagree from all my experience, shaping, surfing. I've rode that in the windiest conditions and it feels amazing.
Yeah, right.
But then again, my epoxy is a little bit different to the big brands where mine have got a 6 deck and 6 bottom, but it's still really light. So super light, but it got a little bit more. It feels more like a board.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
Maybe it's fin choice with a channel bottom.
I just think it's they do work when it's windy, like for sure. Yeah.
Well, okay. Like let's say someone came to you with that and said, and you're like, well, that's not. I don't believe that's true. Would you maybe suggest to them to change their fins?
Yes. So on epoxy boards, we can ride much bigger fins.
Yeah.
So my PUs
longer,
bigger,
wider at the base.
Yes.
Okay.
And larger all around.
Okay.
Larger all around the base, tip, template. That all my epoxies, I'll do that, but then my PUs, I'm actually going smaller fins.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, definitely, with any epoxy, ride bigger fins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, it's nice.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, so what else have we got sitting here? Got the Siamese twin. You've shown us is it the Raptor?
That's the Raptor and the Predator. So they're like brothers, but in a different way. They got different curves.
Slab hunters.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
so
then you go to thruster.
Yeah, so, especially wherever you are, wherever I'm in Bali or Portugal or Australia, we have beach break days, which is most days of the week. And then when the swell comes, and now it's winter, we'll get at least one swell a week. And I need a board, at least one, which I have a Predator and a Raptor. And then that's my go-to, and I'm going extra volume, a lot more, keeping the rail volume low. And they're working amazing. And it's not the length, it's
I was
the
going to say,
volume.
how much extra length would you go then?
Oh, I'm only going extra 2 to 3 inches max.
Is that it? Okay.
Yeah, max. But then it's the volume's key. So by going from my 5'11" epoxy beach break board up to my 6'2" or 6'4", because last week it was like 6 to 10 foot. So, but yeah, either, in that range. But the volume is the key for me.
Volume's
because, and then again, I had one of my old ones and it was only 31 liters. And I thought, I'm going to try it again. And I didn't like it nowhere near as much as these ones at 33 to 35 liters they were.
Right.
33 and a half and 35 liters.
Right.
And I could still, and when I had wall, I could just still crank it and hold that rail, whip it around and push as hard as I want because it got the low rail.
Dude, I'm going to test you. You ready?
Okay.
A shaper test.
Okay.
Look at me.
Yeah.
Right? What should be the average volume I should be riding? As an
How much?
as a fairly, I've surfed for 20 plus years.
Yep.
Still pretty average.
Yeah. Weight?
68 kilos.
Yeah. And for here now on the East Coast in winter.
East Coast, what volume range should I be in?
Yeah, so I like to go off, it's definitely age. Older we get, we need a little bit more because we're a bit slower getting up and paddling because we kind of tend to got kids and work, we're not surfing.
Yeah.
When I used to be young, I used to have 3-4 hours a day, easy, one session.
I wish those days are gone.
Same. So that, so for your weight, and then, you got to add a wetsuit, 3.2 is going to be like 3 kilos.
So I'm around.
Mate, you should be
70 kilos dripping wet.
70 kilos, you should be at 28 litres.
Right. It's interesting. I'm riding 26 to 27 litres.
Yeah, there you go. So,
okay. So
and that's like a lot of people will be like you, and then I'll get them over to the 28 litres, and they're like, some people are like, okay, and some people are like, no, I can't. I can't go up even by 0.3. And I'm like,
but dude, you know what?
Just try it.
You know why I ride that volume? Yeah. It's because once I seen the stats on Kelly Slater, and he was like 175 centimeters by 70 kilos, and he's bald. I was like, that's me. I was like, I'm the same dimensions. I'm as tall as Kelly Slater, and I'm the same weight as Kelly Slater. So I'm going to ride the same boards as Kelly Slater. Marketing.
It's marketing, but Kelly's a super freak. And Kelly is a super freak.
He's got really long arms too, dude. Have you seen his arms?
He's a crazy paddler. Yeah. He's crazy fit. He's crazy flexible. He surfs a lot. He's like a grommet. Dude. You can't go off that.
I know.
You got to go off the average Joe at that age, weight, height.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, if you were basing off Kelly, I would add minimum 2 liters on any model.
It just goes to show though.
I say volume's your friend.
Volume's your friend.
Like when snowboarding, they say speed's your friend, but if you get too slow, you're just going to, But volume's your best friend.
Okay.
Don't be scared.
All right.
I'm getting try 28.
Next board, I'm due for a new board. Next board, I'm going to up the volume.
Go 28. Keep the rail volume low.
But this is the point I want to make too. Like the influence of our heroes and mentors, especially in surfing, the people we look up to, is profound. Like, and that's why, a sponsored surfer is so valuable to a company because, I don't think they do realize it, but it is really profound. We're trying to emulate them, no doubt.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and what they're doing, and you just look up, you're like, wow, I want to do that, and maybe I can do that if I ride that board. Yeah, but you got to. It's just common sense, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then your age, weight, height, region, them factors.
Yeah.
And then how you want to surf.
Such an art.
If you want to do cruisier, like different lines, 20 star, or you want to surf to the best of your ability, high performance beach breaks, you'll go to like that epoxy thing, the Mexican.
Yeah.
Or man, the guys, there's so many guys. It's cool. These last few swells in Australia, just your average guy. Everyone wants to surf big waves now.
Yeah, I know.
It's unreal. Everyone wants to step up on like that big gun there, the Chumbo guns. They're surfing Wedding Cake Island off of Coogee here, and they're surfing everywhere.
How many times in your life have you been out in big conditions and there's been people out there that shouldn't be out there though?
Oh yeah, especially in Bali.
Oh, it's a mind-blowing.
In Bali, like I'll be surfing, I'll paddle out big ulus, and I'll see people that can't even like paddle on a board.
Like when outside corners breaking and stuff. Oh, I seen it once too, and I was just like, wow.
Yeah, and we were out. I was on a jet ski with Thai Buddha, and we went from outside corner to Bommy, like big, and then we went down to Penang, and there was a guy. We had to save a guy. I think he was European, and we called him the redhead. It looked like Sean White, the Euros Sean White. And I said, we got to help this guy, Thai, like. And he was getting sucked around to impossibles there.
Yeah.
He was going to die.
Oh, that far down from
because the rip sucks you out from. No, he was at Penang.
Oh, okay.
And it was sucking him out around, and it's pretty bad, that current there.
Yeah.
And his board was like pointing up, and he was just
paddling,
flapping around, going backwards, and we had to go save him. But
it's terrifying.
That's just a fine example. But in Australia, not much. A lot of people are capable, you know. Like a lot of guys surf in Australia have been surfing a long time. Like we're like second, third, fourth generations here. But most guys know their limits. But it depends where you're going, really.
Depends. Yeah, I mean, Bali's notorious for that.
But Bali's the one where I see. I'm starting to see in Nazare actually, because now with the inflatables and stuff, you're getting a few guys with not that much experience going out there on the 50, 60-foot days. Because they got this kind of insurance of the...
Like false sense of security.
I'm like, wow, you know, and they can surf, but, you know, it's a pretty technical wave.
Yeah.
You know, you got to have that experience, I think. For us, we worked our way up, you know. We were growing up on 6 to 8 foot slabs, you know, and then we went to Hawaii for 10 to 15 years, and then Teahupoo, and then Nazare, you know. It's like you got to work your way up to it.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. God, yeah, you would have to.
Yeah.
Like you said in the last episode, like you and Laurie Towner were on point for the Code Red Swell, and we broke that story down like it's such an epic story. Like people still reach out to me about that and say, "Oh God, that was a sick story," and it's a sick story. Everyone knows it.
Yeah.
But you also said that, you know, to be on point that day, you'd actually done like a 15-year apprenticeship of that wave.
Yeah.
So people see like the end product of like, oh, those guys were charging that day.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they were charging because they put the time in.
Put a lot of time in.
I think people forget that. You know? It's there's those intricacies that you have to work out. Like even you're breaking down that picture, and you knew that you had to, you know, sit 50 foot deeper than the other guy and go. The jet ski needed to go twice as fast.
Yeah.
And, you know,
and the line I had to take, the weight I needed on my boards. I had years of changing toe boards. I went thicker, and longer, and shorter, and more rocker. There were so many things, you know, to my safety equipment. I need 2 jackets. You know, we didn't have inflatables then. To many years of, you know, wipeouts and amazing waves. And that was the climax. But yeah, there was a lot happened prior.
So gnarly. But anyway, listen. So you did your stint in Europe, and you went to Morocco with the family.
Yeah.
Then what did you do?
Yeah, so then I was back in Bali shaving.
Yep.
Yeah, at the end of last year. And then then I went snowboarding. It was pretty cool.
I was going to say, where'd you go?
I went Switzerland and French Alps. Yeah, I go Chamonix, around that area.
Good times.
And yeah, my mate's lucky enough. He houses us, and he's sponsored by Salomon. And I didn't even have to take anything. He just buffs it out, and so I just got to pay for my lift tickets and food. So I just like, let's go for him.
Have all the gear ready for you.
Yeah, and I just love it, you know. And then it's just, I can just stare at their mountains all day, and then you pick lines. You're like, I want to start there, and I just love it. Yeah, I love snowboarding.
And I guess like a good change from being at the ocean all the time.
It's a really nice change and balance, you know, because I skate and surf, and then just to have that. You know, you can just do the biggest hacks, you know, and biggest airs with being strapped in. And but still, I just like going to places like that. So, and then I went from that back to Bali, the heat, and it was cool. And then we went back to surfing. I mean, summer got some good waves at Canggu and Karamis and we got really good ulus. It was wet season in December, and then I come back to Australia all the time in January to autumn.
Yep.
You know, because it's a really good time for business. And because usually most of the year I only spend a week, a month here, but then I can spend a few months.
Yeah.
And then it was coming in. We were going to go back to Bali end of March. And then I'd done a few short trips back to Bali to shape. And then this virus come, and then we had to make the call whether we were going to, it was really close, whether we were going to go to Bali and stay there with the family, which we were going to, and or stay in Australia. But at the same time, last year we were missing our son, Jay. He's 21 now, and we're just missing him. So my wife, Martinique, really wanted to base back in Oz, and same with kind of Summer as well, and even Malia. So I was like, but I was torn because I was so busy in Bali, and then I'm traveling a lot, so I needed them to be happy. So the coronavirus actually worked good because, well, in a way, for us anyway, not for a lot. So
Well, you adapted.
but I had to adapt, and luckily I got the factory. It's down in Port Kembla near Wollongong.
Southeast coast of Australia.
Yeah, and my son's on the central coast, and where my mum's side is. So, but I'm from Cronulla, and my dad was a surfboard maker here for 4 decades.
How does it feel being back?
It feels amazing.
Why?
I've just got a thing with this place, and I always did growing up. So G&S was one of the biggest factories in the world then, and they had all the best. It was MR was there, MP, PT. PT lived with my uncle and auntie.
Peter Townsend.
Peter Townsend.
Townsend, sorry.
Yeah. He moved down, and we lived over here at Sandshoes. And
Epic spot.
just all the stories. And my dad's best mates were Graham Cassidy, Sid, and he ran the world tour. And so my dad was there. He was one of the judges for the world tour, the old bow repairs.
When it was the ASP?
Yes, when it was ASP with the Code Classic.
That was the birth of the ASP?
Yes. Yeah, and that was when Dad's good. So I was there in these contests here at Thing. So, yeah. Hey, babe. Yeah, come and say hello.
Come on in.
Babe, no.
Dylan's wife just walked in to say hi.
Yeah. And so I was there here at Cronulla. It was the Straight Talk Open, and then the bow repairs. And I was a kid at these beaches, and then I was at the factories at G&S where Ockie was a team rider, and Jim Banks and all these legend Cronulla guys. Cronulla was the place. And then before that, Dad was in the 60s. It was called Norm Casey Surf Shop out of Rockdale, and it was Peter Clark. Then I went to Peter Clark here at Cronulla. So they were the pioneer board makers in Australia.
It's amazing.
And just have that history. And then even when we moved down the coast, we'd still come up, and me and my brother or Dazza were like, we just had this thing with Sandshoes, and we'd drive past the factory. That's where G&S. I still do. I tell my kids, that's where G&S was.
Well, that was my next question. Like, do you cruise around the streets here, and just does it bring back all these childhood memories?
100%.
They come flooding back.
Yes.
And your brother Darren said the same thing. Like, as soon as he started talking about Sandshoes and South Cronulla, and I could just see his face light up. Like,
So that's my jogging routine. I run from here at Cronulla Point. I check Shark Island, then I run to Sandshoes. And I just feel like... I just feel home.
Rad, bro.
Yeah, even though I spent my teenage years on the South Coast, I always wanted to move back. But and then the funny thing is now that because when it was my career was starting to chase slabs, I always was chasing the South Coast slabs.
Yeah.
And I never surfed Shark Island. I've surfed ours. Or Voodoo. So
I was going to say, did you get to Vui much?
I am. I will. And I'm kind of frothing, and now Summer kind of likes when the waves are bigger. So I'm really excited to surf Shark Island, Voodoo, and the reefs, and it's going to be good for Summer to adapt, because when we're in between Australia and Bali, we were spending a lot of time on the Gold Coast.
Gotcha.
And I was just kind of sick of the crowds, and I was missing the reef.
Yeah.
So Cronulla was right between my son and my factory. The airport's here. The reefs are here. I'm from here. And it all just made sense.
Especially when you go back to Bali. Like, the airport's right there.
I can just jump on. I can go boost over for like 4 days or 8, whatever.
Makes a lot of sense.
Or Portugal or Peru. And Malia's going to school here now at Cronulla. And I've got lots of friends here that I already knew, all the boys. And the big wave surf community. And I'm happy. I'm really stoked.
Isn't that interesting? Because, when it was sort of maybe at the back end of this corona, I'm going to say bullshit. I'm sorry. I've got strong views on it. And I don't want to go down that path.
Yeah.
Because I really do feel like these restrictions are the biggest erosion of our civil liberties that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But
same.
But it's so I guess amazing to see someone people grow out of it, and I'm really excited to see the positives that are going to grow out of it. And I want to continue a positive mindset in regards to this, because there's a saying that I really love, and from change comes opportunity. And I mean, you've kind of epitomized it. As soon as I walked into your boardroom this morning, because I hadn't seen you since Berawa, which is an epic boardroom as well.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, like, you totally bounced back. Like, because like, I must admit, the big thing, I'm watching friends lose businesses. So a good friend of mine, he's had 2 cafes in Bali.
Yeah.
You know, I had to sack all his stuff.
Yeah.
And he's got a baby on the way, and like, things are hard, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And then that's just one story. And same in another part, friends who own gyms, they still can't open their gyms. Like, but pubs can open. I don't want to go there, but it's been really that part of it's challenged me. Like, people are really losing their livelihoods. But then I'm watching you just get a van, fill it full of your boards, and do an East Coast tour.
Well, that's what I thought. I had all this. A few of the shops closed here in Australia, and I had like 100 stock boards. Yeah, and I'm still making custom boards, and I thought, why don't I do road trips and just take all my boards, and then I just put on social media, and then a lot of people that know me or friends with me go, "Oh yeah, come to Tahiti, come to Crescent, come Yamba." And I'd meet him in beaches.
No way, dude.
Skate parks, petrol stations. And it was cool, like, because I'm a shaper, and then we talk direct, and they'll be stoked. And I have boards to try. We could have a coffee or a beer, depending on where I am and the time. And I was taking the boards to the people rather than the people, because everyone was isolated, and because I'm a sole trader, I was allowed to travel, and I was allowed to. Luckily, you could still surf in Australia, and being autumn, got all the people back surfing, and every town I went, it's more crowded than ever. So it kind of boomed here. Yep. And is that okay?
No, that's it. Yeah.
And then by taking the boards to the people and meeting the people as a shaper, and I went, I didn't even realise no one done it. No, Murray Burton does it. Muzzo, a good friend of mine that I shape, he comes about. He does it a bit, but it was cool. And then it was allowing me to go to Yamba and Gary, surf with Laurie, and my other team riders are out there. Now I want to go to I got to go to Victoria. I want to go to Bell's, the wave pool, and Summer can come with me.
No way.
I want to go to West Oz, and I do a lot of boards for West Oz, and I want to go to surf up north and down south. And
I love that.
I'm just waiting for these borders open to get to the West. I'm not allowed to go there yet. So
right.
Yeah, dude. But it's really cool. I'm having fun doing it. And now in Cronulla here, I live in this apartment block, and this little room come up downstairs, and there was all these vacant shops everywhere, and I just needed a place where I could store boards. And I'm not doing your average 9 to 5 shop. I'm going to be doing it. If the surf's pumping, I'll have a sign on my door that I'm going surfing. You know, and I'm going to shut the shop. Or if I'm shaping, or like make an appointment.
Yeah, I gotcha.
You know, I'm kind of doing that style, more casual. And yeah.
I love that. Got to get bored. Got to bring the boards to the people.
Yeah. So and then I can bring all these boards. Yeah, boards to the people. Like shaper for the people.
Essential service, mate.
Yeah, essential. I'm keeping people happy and mentally.
Well,
happy.
I'm not even joking. It kind of is. Like, I mean, I know for me and many other surfers, it's a medicine, bro.
It is.
It's a medicine.
Yeah.
Like, I often say this, like, for me, catching waves is only 1/3 of the surfing experience. You know, the other 2/3 are being in the ocean, the water, just sitting there.
Yeah.
And then the other one is like just talking, connecting with your friends. And if you get some waves, I mean, that's a bonus. Like, I think that's like that for a lot of people. And when I don't do that, mentally, I don't run as well, bro.
Exactly. I think we're so busy, you know, and then especially these days, whatever is on your mind, whether it's work or family or whatever, I just feel when we get in the ocean, you know, it's just you versus the waves, and that's all you're thinking, and all your other thoughts and worries, and they're kind of gone. And so you get this mental clarity, and it's good physically, and it's cleansing with the salt water and the sun. And so that's why I just didn't get why in like Bali and Europe around the world during this COVID-19, why they wouldn't let them surf, because salt and sun cleans everything, and we're not touching each other. And then I go into the supermarket and they'd be chock-a-block, or the malls. So, but the surfing was so good for the mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally, everything. And it was cleansing, salt and sun.
Well, the science
And you're not
too.
touching another
You're
human.
not. That's what I couldn't get. I mean,
So-
the vitamin D from the sun boosts the immune system like no other. Combined with the magnesium in salt water,
Yeah,
which
that's
is
right.
a muscle relaxant, it is the best way to boost immunity. And that's what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I really feel like governments didn't know what they were doing, and they made a mistake with the decision they made, and then they had to commit to their mistake.
Yeah.
And in the process, that solution has become more harmful than the problem.
Yeah.
In my opinion, and I know there'll be a lot that disagree, but it's just I'm hurt. I'm still hurt and angry, and I was thinking about this podcast a lot last night because I kind of like I'm feeling really. I'm emotional about the state of the world right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I keep thinking about, well, like, you know, what can we do? Like, what difference can we make with all this hate and bullshit and anger and isolation? And I just went back to, I had this moment of like, well, if we want to change the world, we have to change ourselves first and what's inside us.
Yeah.
And I really feel like when you do things like surfing or whatever it is, it could be,
Yeah.
if you're like, I'm not even, I can't be on stage, but if riding a scooter, whatever
Yeah.
it is, if you're connecting with your environment, that's the best place to start because it's going to nourish your soul.
Yes. Agree.
And surfing
Whereas
does
playing
that.
golf, you know,
Whatever,
yeah.
yoga, freaking
Yeah.
tennis, whatever it is. But so I could not believe it when governments are stopping people from doing that.
Yeah, I know. I was the same.
And it just made me think as a species and as a society and culture, we are disconnecting from our physical environment more than we ever have. And
Yeah.
that's the problem. And
Yeah.
let's just strip it back to basics.
Yeah, no, that's right. Yeah, get it back to basics. And yeah, I think they went to extreme, the governments for sure. And yeah, I was lucky to stay in Australia for sure.
You're lucky. So, because we were talking about this before, you were like contemplating staying in Bali.
Yeah,
So
me and the family were like, shit, we had like pretty much 48 hours to
Yeah.
make a call.
Yeah.
And it was a big call. And, you know, well, the thing in Bali was, you know, their health system, if
Yeah.
it got really bad. So, but then I had a place there, you know, I didn't have a place here, so I have to pay really high rents. And so we were like, oh shit, what to do, you know, and the kids' school and you know, it's not just me. But then for surfing, I was thinking, oh man, it could be the best year ever. So I'd rather be in Bali. But lucky I didn't because they stopped everyone surfing.
I know, like I've been talking to
So-
my friends there and they said, yeah, look, it's, you know, like it's been crazy. Like the Banjar are slashing tyres if you're going near the beach and people are getting, there's public beatings for going near the beach, you know.
Yeah.
So some differences in culture there as well. But they're starting to open up there now.
Yeah, they're
Beaches,
starting to
I think
open
the
up
beaches
now.
open up today.
Yeah.
Or even Friday officially.
Yes.
But the Banjar have already relaxed some of their restrictions and
Yeah.
they're letting people in the water. And
Well, it's kind of good, you know. Winter was a couple of days ago, so it started to peak. And so there's going to be some lucky surfers there these next few months for sure.
uncrowded Bali.
Yeah.
You'd never imagine
Oh,
it.
it'd be like it was probably like maybe 40 years ago. It'd be crazy and no traffic and
Well, just before
super clean water and it'd be really nice.
that's what they're saying. Like
Yeah.
the environment there is everything's really cleaned up.
Yeah.
The sky's blue.
Yeah, so there's a positive that's come out of it, you know. There has been positive.
And I did get to surf temples with two other people and no one else out at Uluwatu.
Yeah.
The whole reef empty. It was surreal. It was like apocalyptic, actually.
Yeah.
I remember sitting, and this was right before things went really down. I remember sitting out in the water going, oh my God, I'm surfing temples with like, it was like me and Patet Murta.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like some other random guy. And I remember looking back at the cliffs and there's no one there and no one in the water. And I was like, this is amazing. But then I remember I just had this real feeling of dread, like this is good, but this is not good.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Anyway, let's not go too far down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
'cause
I know. You could go on and on for sure.
We could, but
Yeah.
it does need to be talked about. And I think talking
Yeah.
about these things is important too, bro.
Yeah.
Well, listen, man, it's been epic.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm so glad.
It's good catch up. Last time I was in Bali, now in Australia, and
No,
yeah,
bro.
the swell's on the rise. So I'm going to go surfing now with
And surf
Summer.
today?
Yep.
Yeah,
we're going to go out now.
I'm going to go surfing with my mate Craig Branch.
Yeah.
He's a good friend of mine. He was on the show. He's an ex-professional downhill skier.
Oh, really?
3 Winter Olympic Games.
No way.
He's going to come here and take some photos of us.
Oh, cool.
But we're going to go surf. I think he wants to, have a look at Green Hills and those places.
Yeah.
And your first episode 27. I mean, a lot of people listen to it, and I got so much beautiful feedback. And I'm starting to really want to get guests back on, especially, and a few people have asked about you, and so I just felt like the time was really right, And so thanks for your time, my brother.
Yep, anytime. That's cool to catch up.
We'll do it again.
Talk about life.
Yeah, for sure, man. And so listen, I've got a couple of presents for you.
Oh, really?
All right.
Yeah, right.
So the first one is our friends at Indosol will be sending out their Australian distributor will be sending you a pair of Indosol flip-flops or slides, and they're made from repurposed motor vehicle tires. Again, just a company that I'm really stoked to be associated with because they're really trying to change the game.
Yeah, cool.
Like you.
I can use them as my Bali work boots.
I was going to say. I know, just in time for winter, but no, they're good.
No, and
the other one, the other present I've got for you is, I think I've already given you one of these, but I only give these out to people that have been on the show. And this is the Terrible Habit Talk Circle logo sticker. But there's only now, you'll be episode 58.
It's still on my other Siamese twin, 6 channels on that board.
So, I mean, you're Terrible Habit Talks alumni now. So you've been on the show.
Oh, thank you.
I know it's a small token of my appreciation. I'm a small operation, but it's just a sign of gratitude, brother.
Yeah.
And, I often ask guests to come to the show with a cause they want to advocate for, and we haven't had a chance to talk about it, but I've got a few causes that I'd like to advocate for, like Project Nazare, and also Indosol and Room for Dessert, getting food to the people who need it initiative. Unless there's something on the top of your mind that you'd like to advocate for?
No, I like to do the same. I just think what Sam Mahoney's doing over there in Bali for Project Nazare is really good. Like, it's really hard for everyone in Bali. I've kept my shop open just to keep my staff a job. And there's so many people out of work over there, the locals, and they're finding it hard to survive off anything, let alone just their basic food, or even shelter, anything. So I just think what Sam has done, and there's a few other companies or people doing that in Bali, and I think that's just really good thing to do for humanity.
Yeah, I mean, and that's where you see these cultural differences between first world and third world. Like when we're struggling, it looks very different. So, yes, we're talking people here who are just literally just trying to get a bowl of rice for the day.
Yes, bowl of rice, exactly,
Whereas we're complaining because we can't surf and we can't we can't go to the gym.
Can't go to the gym. Or we can't go to the pub.
Or like my wife was telling me about people who can't go to the beauty salon to get their Botox.
I just think, and especially for us, because we spend a lot of time in Bali and we know exactly what it's like and how poor some of them families are.
Yeah.
And they live off basic anyway, but now they've got nothing. So
sorry to go on a bit of a quick tangent, but what do you think people love Bali so much? I know, like, as a surfer, we love it because of the waves. We get that. But what keeps people going back to Bali, especially Australians?
Yeah.
Why do we love it?
For Australians, it's obviously, the first draw is the waves, But then we kind of, we get to know the locals, and they're really friendly, and they're happy, and they're like, they're just different, but then they're very spiritual, and there's something different about them. But I think it's a whole package of that and the different foods, and I think it's the freedom. I think over here we just got so many rules and laws. You can't do this, can't do that. We're over there, we can't do anything. If we want to go to surf this wave, we can go. If we want to go up the gutter on my motorbike to beat the traffic, I can do it. I think it's that kind of freedom and the relaxed, feeling more relaxed, and that tropical vibe.
Yeah, the tropical vibe, but the freedom's a big one because, like you said, there is not as many rules, and you're actually required to take a bit more responsibility for yourself.
Yeah.
I kind of, if I draw a comparison, I feel like sometimes we're a bit over-regulated here.
Yes.
And that makes you just actually, you feel like you're being treated like a baby.
Yeah.
Whereas over there, if you get in the shit in Bali, it's usually because you've done something stupid.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I firmly believe it's like that, and they're drawn to it, and then and it's so easy, You just get on your motorbike and you just put your board on and a pair of board shorts, and that's all you need.
It's the best.
And then you put 20,000 and you put $2 in your pocket, and then you can go to a local warung and get the best feed of your life, for freshly cooked.
Yeah, exactly.
Just living off basic. Go surfing, board shorts.
Dude,
nice little spicy food.
Stop. I'm gonna get emotional. Well, I can't wait to see you back there, mate. We'll catch up for a surf.
Yeah, I'm going to be back in the next month or the month after, shaping and yeah.
Rad, man. And again, thanks for your time. And so support those causes that Dylan highlighted with Project Nazi and Indosol and Room for Dessert, getting the people food to the people who need it. And also, if you go to indosol.com and use the promo code THT, you'll also get a 15% discount on top of that. All right. Oh, brother, let's go and get some more coffee. High five, brother.
Okay.
All right.
Cheers.
Catch
Thanks
you.
for having me.
See you, brother.